The planet Zythera glowed under 3 suns, casting golden, silver, and blue lights across its cities. The sky shimmered with colors humans had no names for. It was a world of sharp mountains, flowing rivers of bright liquid, and forests with trees taller than the tallest buildings on Earth. In the middle of all this lived Queen Nira, ruler of Zythera. Nira was not like any ordinary ruler. She had been born blind, yet her mind and her senses had grown sharper than anyone's. She could sense the emotions of those around her. She could hear the tiniest movements, feel the changes in the air, and understand the presence of life without seeing it. Her people admired her strength and wisdom. They often said she could see more than any of them. Despite her abilities, Nira was lonely. She ruled her people with fairness and intelligence, but there was no one who could truly share her thoughts. One day, word arrived from distant human explorers. A human named Leo had traveled across many stars to reach Zythera. Humans were rare in this part of the galaxy, and Nira had always been curious about them. She had read about their courage, their ability to adapt, and their unusual way of seeing the world. The news shocked Nira. The humans had not come for trade or war. Instead, there was a request for a diplomatic marriage. The Human Council believed that a union between a human and Zythera's queen would strengthen peace between the species. Nira felt a mixture of curiosity and caution. Could a human ever understand a blind alien queen? Could she trust him with her people and her heart? The arrival of Leo was an event unlike any the planet had seen. His shuttle landed on the central platform of Nira's palace. Unlike the tall, sleek Zytheran ships, his was simple but functional. The hatch opened, and he stepped out, adjusting to the light and the unfamiliar gravity. Nira was waiting inside, guided by her heightened senses. She could feel his presence before he even reached her. Leo walked forward with a calm confidence. He had heard stories about Queen Nira and knew of her blindness, but he did not see her as weak. Instead, he felt respect for her strength. His human heart was brave, but he also carried a gentle curiosity. He wanted to understand her world and her people, not dominate it. The ceremony was held in the palace gardens. Flowers of every color imaginable surrounded the place, and the air was filled with soft music, created by Zytheran instruments that sang through vibrations instead of sound. Nira could feel the vibrations through the ground and through her own body. She felt the presence of many Zytheran nobles and human observers. When Leo approached her, Nira extended her hand. She could sense his heartbeat, steady and calm. She could sense his curiosity and his honesty. His hand was warm, and she felt a strange, comforting energy flow through her. Leo spoke softly, explaining that he would honor and respect her world, and that he wished to learn from her as much as she might learn from him. The words were simple, but for Nira, they carried weight. Few had ever spoken to her in a way that acknowledged her full power and presence. She placed her hand in his and felt an unspoken promise between them. The marriage was not just a political alliance. It was the beginning of something neither of them fully understood. The ceremony ended with music and lights, and the people of Zythera cheered. Even though Nira could not see, she could feel the joy and excitement in the air. The nobles whispered among themselves, some approving and some skeptical. They had doubts about a human ruling alongside their queen, but Nira did not care. She trusted her senses more than the eyes of others. After the ceremony, Nira led Leo to her private chambers. The room was vast and filled with objects of Zytheran culture. There were smooth surfaces that vibrated with information, chairs that adjusted automatically to the body, and devices that glowed softly with energy. Leo touched the surfaces with fascination, feeling the textures and shapes, learning the rules of this new world. Nira guided him gently, explaining the functions without needing to see them. She used her senses to detect his confusion or hesitation, and she adjusted her explanations carefully. Leo laughed softly, a sound Nira could feel more than hear. It was a warm sound that seemed to make the air around them brighter. "Your world is incredible," Leo said. "I have never experienced anything like this. And you are amazing. I can feel your presence everywhere." Nira sensed the sincerity in his words. It was one thing to hear praise, another to feel it. Humans were fragile compared to Zytherans, but they carried a courage and curiosity that could not be measured. Nira realized that this human was not just brave in the way he faced danger, but brave in the way he faced the unknown. The night fell over Zythera, and the 3 suns dipped below the horizon. The colors of the sky changed. and Nira could sense the calm of the evening settling over the palace. She and Leo walked through the gardens together. She could not see the flowers, but she could smell them and feel their vibrations. She could feel the life in every leaf and petal. Leo reached out and gently touched her hand. "Can you feel the stars through the air tonight?" he asked softly. "I think this sky is different from Earth's, but it is beautiful in its own way." Nira nodded, even though he could not see it. She could sense the subtle energy of the stars, the pull of distant planets, and the life flowing around them. "I can feel the balance," she replied. "I do not see with my eyes, but I see with everything else." Leo smiled. "I hope I can learn to see the world as you do." That night they returned to the palace. Nira prepared her chambers, a space designed for her heightened senses. It was quiet, yet filled with subtle energy she could feel. She noticed Leo moving carefully around the room, aware of her presence and not treating her blindness as a weakness. She felt a warmth in her heart, a strange new emotion that surprised her. For the first time, Nira wondered if humans could teach her something about emotions she had never fully understood. She could sense courage, curiosity, and honesty in Leo, but there was also something softer, a sense of companionship and understanding that felt entirely new. As they settled for the night, Nira lay back and allowed her senses to absorb the room. She felt the vibrations of the palace, the movement of the air, and the gentle rhythm of Leo's breathing nearby. It was a strange comfort, knowing that someone from a different world, someone so different from her, could exist so harmoniously in her space. She thought of her people, the nobles who doubted this marriage, and the humans who had sent Leo. A part of her wondered if she had made the right decision, but another part, a deeper part, whispered that she had. She could feel the strength of Leo's character, and she could feel that this human had something unique to offer, not just to her, but to her people and her world. Before sleep took her, Nira allowed herself one more thought. She could not see Leo, but she felt him as clearly as she felt the ground beneath her. She sensed his honesty, his curiosity, and his courage. In that moment, she realized that sight was not always necessary to understand or to trust. Some truths could be felt, and some strengths could be sensed. The night was calm. The palace settled into quiet hums of energy. Nira, the blind queen, felt a sense of anticipation. Something had begun tonight, something neither human nor Zithran had fully imagined. And deep inside, she sensed that Leo was more than just a human visitor or a political ally. He was the beginning of a new understanding, a new bond, and a story that would change Zythera forever. The morning on Zythera came softly. The three suns rose slowly, casting golden, silver, and blue light over the palace. The air was crisp, filled with vibrations that Nira could feel through the floors and walls. She woke with a quiet excitement. Leo had spent his first night in her palace, and she was curious to see how he would adjust to her world. Leo stirred and sat up on the soft, floating bed that adjusted to his weight. He marveled at the quiet hum of energy in the room. He could feel the walls vibrating gently with life, the floor responding to his movements. Everything was different from Earth, but he was determined to learn. He wanted to understand Nira's world, not just observe it. Nira rose as well, sensing his presence nearby. "Good morning, Leo," she said softly. Her voice carried confidence, calmness, and warmth. Leo smiled. "Good morning, Queen Nira," he replied. "This world feels alive. I have never experienced anything like it." Nira could sense his fascination. She guided him gently through the palace, explaining the rooms, the corridors, and the energy flows. He listened carefully, touching the surfaces and learning how to navigate. He admired how she could sense every movement and emotion, how she understood her people without seeing them. "It must be difficult," Leo said, "to lead without sight." "I cannot imagine how you manage so much at once," Nira sensed his genuine curiosity. "I do not see with eyes, but I feel everything. I feel intentions, emotions, and changes in the world. My senses are strong and I trust them." Leo nodded, trying to imagine how it felt. He realized that his human senses were limited, but he also understood that humans had strengths of their own. "I hope I can help, even in small ways," he said. "I want to understand your world and help your people." Nira felt a warmth in her chest. Few had spoken to her with such honesty and respect. Most saw her blindness as a weakness. Leo saw it as part of her strength. She sensed that he could adapt, that he could become more than a visitor in her world. The day began with a tour of the city. Nira guided Leo through the streets of Zythera, filled with creatures and beings of every shape and size. The buildings were tall, some floating above the ground, some carved into cliffs. The air vibrated with energy, carrying messages and music that humans could only barely detect. Leo touched the walls and surfaces, learning their textures. He marveled at the way the buildings seemed alive, how they reacted to energy and presence. He watched the citizens moving with grace and purpose and realized that Nira's people were deeply connected to their queen. They trusted her decisions, respected her wisdom, and followed her lead without hesitation. During the tour, a group of Zitharan nobles watched them closely. Some whispered among themselves, questioning whether a human could truly live among them and understand their ways. Nira felt the tension but ignored it. She had chosen Leo for a reason. He had a mind and heart that could bridge the gap between their worlds. Leo sensed the nobles' scrutiny. He walked confidently, observing their reactions without fear. He knew that respect had to be earned, not demanded. Nira felt pride in his calm courage. He was not just brave in action. He was brave in presence, facing the unknown without hesitation. After the city tour, they returned to the palace. Nira showed Leo the training chambers where Zitharans honed their skills in combat, strategy, and energy manipulation. Though he could not perform their techniques perfectly, Leo learned quickly. He adapted human strategies to Zitharan methods, finding creative solutions to exercises that challenged even the most experienced Zitharans. The nobles watched him with surprise. Many had expected a human to struggle or fail. Instead, Leo's determination and cleverness impressed them. Nira sensed the shift in their attitudes, the growing respect for this unusual human who walked among them with courage and humility. That evening, Nira invited Leo to the palace gardens. The gardens were a place of beauty and serenity, filled with glowing plants and gentle streams. Nira could feel every vibration in the plants, every movement in the water, and every subtle shift in the air. She could not see, but her senses painted a vivid picture of life all around her. Leo followed her carefully, sensing the energy flows and using his human instincts to navigate. "This place is incredible," he said. "I have never seen anything like it, though I can feel its life all around me." Nira smiled. "You do not need to see with eyes. You already feel what many cannot. That is the first step to understanding Zithara." They walked in silence for a while. Leo reached out and touched her hand gently. "I want to learn everything," he said. "Not just about your world, but about you. I want to understand your people, your rules, and your ways. I want to help you lead." Nira sensed the honesty in his touch and words. She felt a connection she had never experienced before. Humans were fragile compared to Zitharans, but their curiosity, patience, and adaptability were extraordinary. She realized that Leo's presence could teach her things she had never known, not about the world, but about understanding life in a deeper way. That night, a small alarm rang in the palace. Nira sensed a disturbance outside the city, a movement of unknown creatures approaching the outer borders. She activated her alert systems and called her guards. Leo followed her without hesitation. Nira explained the situation. "Some outsiders are near our borders. They are curious, but their intentions are unclear. I must investigate," Leo nodded. "I will follow you. We can face it together." Together, they left the palace under the soft glow of the three suns. Nira sensed the attackers using her heightened abilities. She could feel their energy, their intent, and their numbers. Leo observed carefully, learning how she detected threats without sight. He realized that humans could not match Zitharans in raw perception, but they could contribute with creativity and quick thinking. When the attackers arrived, Nira devised a defense strategy. She guided her guards with precise commands, sensing the flow of the battle through vibrations and subtle energy shifts. Leo assisted by suggesting unexpected maneuvers, combining human strategy with Zitharan techniques. Together they managed to protect the city without causing unnecessary harm. After the incident, Nira felt something new. She sensed Leo's calmness, his careful observation, and his courage. He had not panicked, he had not faltered. His presence was steady like an anchor in the chaos. For the first time, Nira realized that humans could possess a strength that was different from Zitharans, a strength of mind, heart, and spirit that was equally powerful. That night, they returned to the palace. Nira led Leo to a quiet room filled with the soft hum of energy. She could sense the calm of the palace settling around them. Leo touched her hand gently. You handled everything with such strength, he said. I am learning from you, but I hope you are learning from me too. Nira smiled. I am learning more than I expected. You have courage, patience, and insight. Your presence shows me a perspective I did not know existed. You help me feel the world differently. Leo felt encouraged. Then let us continue to learn from each other. We may be different, but together we can find balance. Nira sensed the truth in his words. Differences could be strengths if understood and respected. Humans and Zithrans were different in every way, yet together they could achieve something neither could do alone. She felt hope, a rare and precious feeling. As the night deepened, Nira reflected on the day. She had seen Leo adapt to her world, learn its rules, and earn respect from her people. She had sensed his bravery and his kindness. For a blind queen, sight was not necessary to witness greatness. Leo had already shown it through his actions, his words, and his presence. She lay back, feeling the vibrations of the palace and the quiet strength of Leo beside her. Her mind wandered through possibilities. Humans were unpredictable, but their unpredictability brought creativity. They saw solutions where Zithrans saw obstacles. They felt emotions deeply, which could be dangerous but also enlightening. Nira realized that Leo was not just a guest or a political ally. He was a bridge between worlds, a living example of what humans could offer Zythera. She felt a growing admiration and trust, a connection that went beyond politics or duty. Before sleep took her, Nira sensed the energy of Leo beside her, steady and reassuring. She felt a strange comfort in his presence, a sense of partnership that transcended differences. She had not seen with her eyes, yet she felt more than she ever had before. She understood that humans had qualities that Zithrans could not fully comprehend. Courage, adaptability, and kindness were forces as strong as any energy or weapon on Zythera. The night passed quietly. The palace settled into gentle vibrations. Nira, the blind queen, had begun to understand that the union with Leo was more than a political marriage. It was the start of something new, a connection that could change her, her people, and perhaps even the galaxy. The suns of Zythera rose together, filling the sky with a golden, silver, and blue glow. The palace was quiet as Nira sensed the vibrations of life all around. Her people moved through the corridors, preparing for another day, but Nira felt something unusual in the air. There was a subtle tension, a disturbance far beyond the city walls. Leo, she said softly, sensing his presence nearby. I feel movement outside the city. It is faint, but it is there. We must prepare. Leo rose immediately. He had been learning from Nira for days and already understood that when she sensed danger, it was never imagined. What kind of movement? He asked. Unknown, Nira replied. It is not like our normal patrols. I feel purpose and caution. They approach quietly, but their intent is unclear. We must be ready. The two of them walked to the palace command center. The room vibrated with energy as Nira sensed the positions of her guards and the borders of the city. Leo observed everything, touching surfaces, feeling the energy, and learning how the Zitherans organized their defenses. Could it be an attack? Leo asked. It could be, Nira replied, or it could be a test. Either way, we must respond with care and strength. Nira and Leo gathered her elite guards. The soldiers, tall and muscular, with vibrant markings on their skin, formed a circle around their queen. They trusted Nira completely, but the arrival of a human beside her unsettled some of them. They had seen humans struggle in training and wondered if one could survive alongside their queen during real danger. Leo sensed their doubt, but did not react. He had learned that courage was not about showing off, but about presence and action. I am here to assist, he said calmly. Tell me what I can do. Nira smiled inwardly. She had felt his courage before, but now she sensed it more clearly. We will defend the city together, she said. You will help me coordinate the defenses. Trust your instincts and my guidance. As they approached the city gates, Nira sensed the attackers more clearly. A group of alien ships hovered silently above the outer fields. They were small, agile, and fast. Nira felt their intent through the vibrations in the air. They were testing the city, probing for weaknesses. Leo, she said, they are scouts. If we act wisely, we can protect the city without a battle. But we must move quickly. Leo nodded, feeling a thrill of excitement mixed with caution. He had faced dangers on Earth, but nothing like this. Here, every decision could affect thousands of lives, not just his own. Nira sent orders to the city's defense units. Her guards moved with precision, activating energy barriers and positioning defensive drones. She sensed the flow of energy in the attackers' ships, their movements and hesitation. She felt a strange satisfaction in the clarity of her senses, in knowing she could protect her people even without sight. Leo suggested using human strategy, combining movement and distraction to confuse the attackers. They rely on speed and scanning energy, he said. If we create false signals, we can mislead them. Nira sensed the wisdom in his suggestion. Do it, she commanded. The guards followed their instructions, and Leo helped coordinate the distractions. Small energy pulses were sent to one side of the field, while the main defenses shifted subtly. The attackers responded, changing direction, trying to find weaknesses. Nira felt their frustration. Her senses detected their fear growing. They were powerful but unprepared for a city defended with intelligence and coordination. Good, Leo said quietly. We are making them hesitate. Keep sensing their moves, Nira nodded. She felt every vibration, every shift in the air, every intention of the approaching ships. She guided her guards to intercept without unnecessary conflict. Small strikes disabled the outer scouts while barriers protected the city from harm. The battle was quick but intense. Nira and Leo worked together seamlessly, coordinating humans and Zitherans, blending strategy, intuition, and precise timing. Leo learned to trust her senses completely, while Nira began to understand human creativity and rapid decision-making. When the last scout retreated, Nira felt a strange emotion. She was relieved but also proud. Not proud of victory alone, but proud of Leo. He had faced fear calmly and used his mind as a weapon of strategy. He had not only survived but contributed to saving her city. Leo, she said quietly as they walked back to the palace, you have strength beyond what I imagined. You face danger with courage and clarity. You are not just a human here, you are a partner. Leo smiled, feeling warmth in his chest. I could not have done it without your guidance, Nira. You led with confidence and trust. I only followed your example and added what I could. Together we were stronger. Nira sensed the truth in his words. She realized that humans, though physically weaker than Zitherans, carried something equally powerful: adaptability, intelligence, and courage. She had underestimated the depth of human strength, and Leo had shown her more than she expected. That night the palace was quiet. Nira sensed the calming vibrations of her city and felt the steady presence of Leo beside her. They walked through the gardens, feeling the gentle energy of the plants, the soft flow of the streams, and the vibrations of the earth. I never thought I would feel so connected to a human, Nira said softly. You move through my world with care, yet you leave an impact I can feel. It surprises me. Leo reached out and took her hand. I feel the same. Your world is amazing and your strength is inspiring. I want to learn everything, not just about your people, but about you. I want to understand your senses, your thoughts, and your vision of life. Nira felt a warmth she could not name. She had led for many years, relied on her senses, and trusted few. Yet she could sense honesty, patience, and kindness in Leo that made her feel safe. His presence was comforting, steady, and brave all at once. As the night deepened, Nira allowed herself to sense more than usual. She felt the vibrations of the palace, the life of her people, and the gentle hum of energy in the gardens. And she felt Leo, his courage, his care, and his attention were like a new energy, unlike anything she had sensed before. I wonder, Nira said quietly, how humans can be so fragile yet so strong at the same time. Leo smiled. It is in our nature to adapt, to survive, and to connect. We may not have powers like yours, but we have resilience, creativity, and heart. Sometimes that is enough. Nira felt stunned by the truth in his words. She had sensed humans as a species before, but she had never felt one in such depth. Leo's presence revealed a side of humanity she had not known. A quiet strength, courage, an understanding that could match even the most advanced Zitharan abilities. That night, as they returned to the palace chambers, Nira reflected on the events. She realized that this marriage was not just about politics or peace between species. It was about learning, understanding, and connecting. She had seen Leo face danger without fear. She had seen him think quickly and act wisely. And she had felt his heart, steady and kind, beside her. Nira lay back on her bed, sensing every detail of the palace and the room. She felt the presence of Leo nearby, a human who had become more than a guest. He was her partner in every sense, not just in name but in thought, courage, and spirit. For the first time, Nira allowed herself to feel astonishment, not at the power of her senses, but at the strength she had witnessed in another being. Humans were unpredictable, fragile and yet capable of acts that even the most powerful Zitherans could not imagine. She closed her eyes and allowed herself to imagine the future. With Leo beside her, she could protect her people more effectively, learn new ways to lead, and perhaps even understand emotions and thoughts in a way she never had. She had trusted him with her city and her life, and he had proven worthy. Nira realized that the night's events had changed something inside her. She had faced danger before, but never with someone like Leo. He had not only survived, but he had contributed in ways that surprised her. His courage, intelligence, and empathy were qualities she could not see with her eyes, yet she felt them deeply. The palace settled into quiet hums of energy. Nira, the blind queen, felt a sense of wonder she had not experienced in years. She had married a human for the sake of peace, yet she had gained something far greater, a partner, a teacher, and a friend. As she drifted towards sleep, she sensed Leo's steady presence. She realized that sight was not necessary to witness greatness. She had seen it, felt it, and understood it through trust, courage, and connection, and that realization stunned her in a way that would stay with her forever. The morning after the attack, Zithera seemed unusually calm. The three suns rose slowly, painting the sky with gold, silver, and soft blue light. Nira sensed every vibration in the air. Even the palace itself seemed to breathe in relief. She felt Leo moving through the halls, his steps cautious but confident. "Nira," Leo said, "I have been thinking. There is so much about your world I do not understand yet. I want to explore, learn, and see everything, even if it takes time." Nira smiled, sensing his sincerity. "You have already seen more than most humans ever could. But yes, there are places in Zithera that few have visited. I will show you, but you must follow my guidance." Together, they moved through the palace corridors. Nira guided Leo with careful instructions. She explained the flow of energy in each room, the vibrations of the floors, and the subtle sounds of machinery and nature intertwined. Leo felt every detail, learning to trust not only his hands but also his instincts and his understanding of Nira's senses. After hours of walking, Nira led him to a hidden chamber. The entrance was almost invisible to those without heightened perception. Nira could feel the energy of the chamber even before opening the door. "This is a place of knowledge," she said. "It contains the wisdom of Zithera's ancestors. Few have entered and fewer still have understood its secrets." Leo stepped inside, amazed. The chamber was filled with objects of strange shapes and glowing symbols. The air vibrated with information that Nira could sense, and Leo could feel the energy flowing through the room. Ancient artifacts floated in the air, protected by invisible barriers. Some hummed softly while others radiated warmth. "These artifacts," Nira explained, "contain the history, culture, and knowledge of Zithera. They are alive with energy, and only those who respect them can understand their purpose." Leo walked slowly, touching the edges of some objects. He could not fully sense their energy as Nira did, but he could feel their shapes, their textures, and the intention behind their design. "It is incredible," he whispered. "I have never seen or felt anything like this." Nira moved beside him, sensing every vibration he made. "Humans often rely on sight," she said. "But here, feeling, sensing, and understanding energy is more important. You already perceive things in ways humans normally do not. You are learning fast." They reached the center of the chamber, where a large artifact rested on a pedestal. It pulsed with energy that Nira could feel through her body. She placed her hands on it and closed her eyes. Memories of her ancestors filled her mind, their wisdom, their struggles, their victories, and their failures. She felt a deep connection to her people, to the planet, and to the energy that bound them all. Leo watched her carefully. "Can you feel their lives?" he asked softly. "Yes," Nira replied. "I feel their intentions, their thoughts, their courage, and their fears. It is overwhelming at times, but it is also beautiful. These artifacts are a record of who we are and what we have faced. They remind me why I must protect Zithera and its people." Leo placed his hand lightly on the pedestal beside hers. Though he could not feel as much as Nira, he sensed a warmth and a pulse of energy that made his heart race. He realized that humans had much to learn, but they could also contribute in ways Zitherans had never imagined. Nira opened her eyes, though they saw nothing. "I want you to understand this," she said. "Even if you cannot see, you can feel. You can learn to respect and protect this knowledge, and perhaps one day you will help me use it to guide our world." Leo nodded. I will try my best. I want to help, not just observe. I want to understand Zithra and its people as deeply as I can. Over the next hours, Nira showed Leo several artifacts, teaching him how to sense their energy and purpose. He learned quickly, guided by her instructions and his own intuition. He realized that understanding was more than seeing. It was feeling, listening, and connecting. At one point, they stopped near a small glowing orb. Nira felt its energy, subtle but powerful. It contained memories of a great Zitharan hero who had protected the planet long ago. She could sense his courage, his fear, and his unwavering dedication. Leo touched the orb lightly. He felt a pulse of energy, a story told through vibrations rather than words. It is like listening to a heartbeat, he said.
A life frozen in time, yet still alive in some way. Nira nodded.
Yes, and you are beginning to feel what I feel. This is rare. Few humans can sense even a fraction of this energy. But you are learning quickly, and your presence here matters more than you know. As they continued exploring, Nira sensed something unusual. It was a quiet, subtle energy that did not belong to the artifacts. She focused and her awareness sharpened. She felt Leo's presence beside her, steady and calm. But there was another layer, a human gesture, small and delicate, that she had never sensed before. What is it? Leo asked, sensing her focus. I feel something new, Nira said. It is your energy. The way you move, the way you touch, the way you approach everything with care and patience. It is different from any human I have sensed before. It surprises me. Leo smiled softly. I do not know if I understand, but I try to be careful. I do not want to damage your world or your people. I want to learn and respect everything around me. Nira felt a shock of awareness. She had known humans to be curious, brave, and sometimes reckless. But Leo's presence, his patience, his gentleness, and his courage combined in a way she had never sensed before. It stunned her. She realized that humans could offer more than she had imagined. Their strength was not only in physical power or intelligence, but in their ability to feel, adapt, and connect with others. Leo had shown her a human quality that transcended sight, skill, or power, a quality that resonated deeply with her own senses. They spent the rest of the day in the chamber, exploring artifacts, sharing stories, and learning from each other. Nira taught Leo about Zithara's history, its victories, and its challenges. Leo shared stories of Earth, of human courage and human ingenuity. They realized that despite the differences between species, their values and desires were not so different. Both sought understanding, safety, and connection. As evening approached, they left the chamber. Nira guided Leo through the palace corridors, sensing every vibration and every movement. They walked to the gardens, where the soft light of the setting suns reflected off the streams and plants. Nira paused, sensing the world around her in a way she had not before. I have seen many things, she said softly, but what I feel today surprises me. Your presence, your care, your courage, it leaves an impression that I cannot describe. It is unlike anything I have felt before. Leo took her hand gently. I am honored that you feel this. I have learned so much from you, Nira. Your wisdom, your courage, and your senses are beyond anything I imagined. I feel proud to walk beside you, not as a guest, but as someone who wants to protect and understand your world. Nira felt a surge of emotion she had never experienced. It was not just admiration or respect. It was awe. She had sensed many great beings, many powerful leaders, and many courageous warriors. But Leo, in his humanity, had awakened something in her. A recognition of strength, patience, an understanding that transcended physical senses. She realized that the artifacts, the history and the wisdom of Zithara were not just tools for leadership or protection. They were mirrors showing her the potential of connection, learning, and respect. And in that mirror, Leo's presence shone brightly. As night fell, the three suns dipped below the horizon, leaving a soft twilight. Nira and Leo returned to the palace chambers. She felt the vibrations of the palace settling, the calm of the night enveloping them. She sensed Leo beside her, steady, kind, and aware. For the first time, Nira allowed herself to feel astonishment, not at the power of her senses, but at the depth of human character she had witnessed. Leo's patience, curiosity, and courage had shown her qualities she could not have imagined. He had faced danger, learned quickly, and moved through her world with care and respect. She realized that humans, though fragile in body, could possess a strength that was more profound than physical might. It was a strength of heart, mind, and spirit, and she felt stunned, humbled, and inspired by it. That night, as she lay back, Nira sensed the presence of Leo beside her. She realized that this marriage, this union, was not only about political alliance or peace between species. It was about discovery, understanding, and connection. She had married a human, yet what she had witnessed that day had left her truly stunned. For Nira, sight was unnecessary. She had seen more clearly than ever through her senses, through trust, and through the presence of a human who had shown her the depth of courage and compassion that transcended species. The palace hummed gently with energy. Nira, the blind queen, felt a sense of awe and wonder that would stay with her forever. She had discovered something extraordinary, not in artifacts or history, but in the living presence of Leo, a human who had walked into her world and changed her understanding of strength, courage, and connection. The suns of Zithera rose together, spreading golden, silver, and blue light across the palace. Nira could feel every vibration, every movement of life, and every shift in the energy around her. She had spent days with Leo exploring the palace, learning from him and discovering new aspects of Zithera. Now she felt a calm sense of anticipation. Something was about to change in a way she could feel, but not yet fully understand. Leo entered her chambers, his steps confident, yet careful. He had grown more comfortable in Zithera, learning the rhythms, the energy flows, and the ways of her people. "Good morning, Nira," he said softly. "I have been thinking about the things we have seen and learned. There is so much potential in your world and so much we can do together." Nira sensed his energy, steady and calm, full of determination. "You have already shown me more than I imagined," she replied. "Your courage, patience, and understanding are beyond what I expected from a human. You have changed the way I see strength and trust." Leo smiled, feeling the warmth in her words. "I am honored. But I feel I have only begun to understand your world and your people. There is more to learn and more to protect." Nira felt a spark of excitement. For years she had ruled with wisdom and strategy, relying on her heightened senses and the loyalty of her people. But Leo's presence had introduced a new kind of insight, a way of thinking she had not known. Humans were fragile in body but resilient in spirit. Their creativity, courage, and understanding could complement her own abilities in ways she had never imagined. That day, they walked through the city together. Nira sensed the energy of her people, the flow of life in the streets, and the gentle hum of the machines and buildings. She felt pride in their loyalty and skill. But she also felt the subtle doubt among some of the nobles. Many still questioned whether a human could truly understand Zithera and contribute meaningfully to its leadership. Leo moved confidently beside her, aware of the scrutiny. He did not speak loudly or demand attention. Instead, he walked calmly, observing, learning, and responding to the energy of the city. Nira sensed the respect growing among the people as they noticed his careful presence. He was not imposing. He was connecting. As they reached the central plaza, a messenger approached. Nira sensed the urgency in his energy. "Queen Nira," the messenger said, "an issue has arisen at the northern border. A group of traders has reported a disturbance among the alien wildlife. It could threaten the nearby settlements." Nira nodded. "Prepare the scouts and send them with clear instructions. We must protect our people without unnecessary harm." She looked at Leo. "I want you with me. Your perspective will help guide decisions." Together they traveled to the northern border. Nira felt the land beneath her, sensing every vibration of the ground, every shift in energy. The wildlife had become restless, and small creatures moved in unusual patterns. Leo observed carefully, noting the changes and learning to anticipate their movements. "It seems they are not attacking intentionally," Leo said. "Something has disturbed their environment and they are reacting. We may be able to redirect them without conflict." Nira sensed the truth in his words. Humans often notice things differently, focusing on cause rather than immediate effect. She allowed him to guide part of the response, combining his insights with her own senses. Together, they led the wildlife back toward safer areas, calming the creatures with vibrations and gentle energy pulses. The people in the nearby settlements watched in amazement. They had feared an attack or disaster, but Nira and Leo had handled it calmly and efficiently. Even the skeptical nobles could not deny the success. Nira sensed their growing respect, not only for her leadership but also for the partnership she shared with a human. That evening, as the sun set, Nira and Leo returned to the palace gardens. The streams reflected the soft light, the plants glowed gently, and the air was filled with subtle vibrations of life. Nira paused, sensing the energy all around her. "Leo," she said softly, "you have changed my understanding of strength and connection. I have witnessed courage, patience, and care in ways I did not know humans could possess." Leo took her hand gently. "And you have taught me to sense, to understand, and to respect life in ways I never imagined. Your world is incredible, and your people are extraordinary. I feel honored to be part of it." Nira felt a surge of emotion. For the first time, she realized that sight was not necessary to witness greatness. Strength, courage, and understanding could be felt, not just seen. And in Leo's presence, she had discovered a depth of humanity that stunned her. They walked in silence for a while, feeling the energy of the streams and plants, and the quiet hum of life in the palace. Nira sensed Leo's heart and mind, steady and honest, and she realized how much she trusted him. He had not only survived challenges but had contributed meaningfully to the protection and understanding of her world. As night fell, they returned to the palace chambers. Nira sensed the vibrations of the palace settling, the calm of the night enveloping them. She sat quietly, feeling the energy of the artifacts they had explored together, and the flow of life around her. "Leo," she said softly, "I have been blind all my life, yet I have seen more clearly than ever before. Not with eyes, but with trust, understanding, and connection. You have taught me that humans, though fragile in body, can possess strength, courage, and wisdom equal to any Zithran." Leo smiled, feeling a warmth he had never felt before. "And you have taught me that perception is not limited to sight. Strength is not only in power, but in heart and mind. Together we can protect this world and learn from each other." Nira felt a profound sense of clarity. She realized that the marriage, which had begun as a political alliance, had grown into something deeper. It was not just about peace between species. It was about learning, understanding, and connection. Leo had shown her qualities she could not have imagined, and she had shown him a world filled with life, energy, and wisdom. The palace hummed gently with energy. Nira lay back on her bed, sensing every detail of the room. She felt the presence of Leo beside her, steady and reassuring. She realized that this human had changed her understanding of the universe. Courage, patience, and care were not just human traits. They were universal forces that could shape worlds. For the first time, Nira allowed herself to feel astonishment and awe. She had faced danger, explored hidden knowledge, and led her people with wisdom. But what stunned her most was the quiet strength and understanding she had witnessed in a human beside her. She thought of her people, the nobles who had doubted the marriage and the humans who had sent Leo. She realized that trust, connection, and mutual respect could overcome skepticism and fear. Humans and Zithrans were different, yet together they could achieve balance, protection, and progress. Nira sensed Leo's energy as he moved closer to her. "You have seen more than anyone else in this palace," he said softly. "But the greatest discovery is not here in the walls or artifacts. It is in the understanding we share and the bond we have formed." Nira felt stunned. He was right. She had witnessed courage, intelligence, patience, and care in ways she had never imagined. It was not the artifacts, the history, or even her own senses that mattered most. It was the presence of a human who had walked into her world and shown her the unseen power of connection. She reached out and touched his hand. "You have opened my eyes, Leo, in ways no one could. I feel the world differently now. I trust you, respect you, and value your presence more than I can express." Leo smiled, feeling the depth of her words. "And I will continue to learn, protect, and support you, Nira. Together we can face any challenge, explore any unknown, and understand what neither of us could alone." Nira felt a sense of completion. The marriage that had begun with politics and duty had become a partnership of trust, courage, and understanding. She realized that strength was not only in her abilities or her senses, but in the connection she shared with Leo. It was a bond that transcended species, sight, and expectations. That night, as the three suns dipped below the horizon and Zithra settled into gentle darkness, Nira felt the presence of life all around her. The palace, the gardens, her people, and Leo. She realized that she had witnessed something extraordinary, something that would stay with her forever. She had married a human, yet what she had discovered was not just about him, but about the nature of strength, courage, and understanding. Humans could inspire, teach, and complement Zithran abilities in ways she had never imagined. Nira, the blind queen, felt a sense of awe, respect, and trust that left her truly stunned. She had seen more than ever before, not with eyes but with her senses, her heart, and her mind. Leo had shown her the unseen power of humanity, and together, they would shape a future stronger than either species could achieve alone. As she drifted into sleep, she allowed herself one final thought. She had married for duty, yet she had found partnership, trust, and understanding beyond measure. In Leo's presence, she had witnessed strength, courage, and heart in a way that left her stunned. And for the first time, Nira knew that the future of Zithra and the future of their connection was brighter than any sun in the sky.